over the years, you've started working quite closely with him, and if you signed to his Records label.
Yeah.
Can you describe the relationship between you and how it developed?
Well, at first, I mean, he released my track because he really liked it, and in the meantime, I also released tracks on different labels. But we always kept in touch, and he really liked my music, and I really like his music as well. And throughout the years, he gave me like tips and hints, and on one last track, Ammo, I sent it to him. He gave me some advice on how to improve the mix down and improve like the story of the track. And I just got back to him, edited the track on my own way, and then he just emailed me like, "Yo, man, that's really great progression you showed there, and I really want to work with you more close." So that's when we had a talk, and I decided to sign on his label. And right now we just work in the studio, and he gives me a lot of feedback, but I give him a lot of feedback as well. So we just finished this album, and I've been working on that one as well, and giving him feedback on mix downs, but. So we're just like, we work together really closely and really good actually, and we have the same idea about music and how we want to release it and how we think about it. So that's, I mean, our connection music-wise and also personally, we're friends right now. It's really good, so yeah.
This idea of how to release and make music, can you explain this idea? What is it to you?
Well, first you need to like, get known to the club scene before you actually release a really commercial. I mean, there's different ways to do it, but I just feel like, and that's how he feels as well, if I release music, I want to make something that people can listen to in like 20 years time still, you know? So, and also you need to be refreshing and inspiring at the same time. And that's what he thinks as well. And I think like next to Avicii and Afrojack is probably one of the biggest artists right now that made his own sound, you know, like the bleepy sound. That's what he got known for, and that's a really important key in your career, that you have a certain own sound that people could recognize you for when a track is played in a club. So yeah, that's how I feel about it as well.
Well, we've mentioned it a little bit earlier, but how would you characterize your own sound then?
My own sound is really energetic, certain musical elements that could surprise people. I like to play with volumes in tracks and unexpected, production things. But also, I want to give it like a more commercial twist, but something people wouldn't expect as well, you know. So right now, I've been working on some vocal tracks, but they're just a tad different than the really commercial popular tracks right now. And that's, you know, they all have my own sound and body and style and production. So.
Well, in what way can you maybe it's too technical, but the way you use vocals, can you explain a bit?
Yeah, for example, my tracks have a certain scheme, a build-up that I use, but also I really like the piano. So my piano is one of the main instruments in my tracks. But also, like, it could be in melody-wise that I use certain chord schemes that are different from others. Or yeah, you know, I just want to surprise people and do stuff music-wise that others don't know. And mix-wise, I mean, Afrojack taught me a lot of things mix-wise, so I really know how to make my production sound fat. Sometimes there's still room for improvement, actually, but it's just, if your track sounds really fat, it sounds well on the radio, because people should listen to it on the radio, but as well in the clubs, you know. So.
Well, you mentioned Tiesto in the beginning, and quite recently you did a remix of one of Tiesto's songs. Yeah. Have you spoken to him about it?
Yeah, I actually, I got the request to do a remix for his management, emailed my management, so I did the remix, and then I made one and was really anxious because I hoped he would approve it, and then he approved it, so I sent him an email like, "Yo man, thanks for approving my remix," and he just sent me a mail back like, "No problem, it's really good and I'm happy to release it." So I actually know him quite well already because I've been emailing with him back in the days a lot as well. Like, he was one of the guys I stalked with emails as well. So it's nice, and I'll probably see him in Miami, and we'll have a chat about it as well.
Well, you've been accepted quite well into the dance or DJ community by Armin, Tiesto, Afrojack. Is it always this like a big happy family when a new talent comes up?
Of course. I mean, those guys, we're all like competition to each other, but it keeps all of us sharp. But still, I mean, if someone does well, why wouldn't you accept them in the family? And sometimes it actually feels like a big family because all the names you mentioned are really Dutch. So when we play somewhere and there's like 10 Dutch DJs and 5 of them are like from a different country, and it's really funny because we're always laughing and talking to each other in Dutch, and it's just like one big happy vibe. But like all the artists, we just accept each other, and it's fun to hang out with people that do the same thing as you do, you know. So
On the other side, then, being showered with this type of admiration, does it bring along with it pressure to do well?
well, I'd say it will keep you like sharp and fresh, and you need to think about your next step in your career. But on the other hand, I just do whatever I like, and I'm really happy that people like it as well, and that you know my music gets accepted by people. But yeah, it puts a little pressure on your shoulders, but I'm not really busy with that actually.
Well, you also mentioned the States, Miami. Has it always been the idea when you started with Afrojack in the beginning to make that transition to the United States?
No, not really, because I started producing music and I just wanted to make whatever I liked, and then people started like picking up my tracks and downloading it and buying it and whatever. And then all of a sudden the States came by like, hello, we want to have you here as well. And then I played in San Diego and Vegas the first time. And right now I'm playing Vegas soon as well. It's just like, it hasn't been my main idea, but it's a market next to Europe and the Netherlands as well, you know, like the Netherlands in specific. And the house music industry in America is really blowing up right now. So that's why it's really funny to go there, because people are really happy to hear new DJs and, you know, get inspired as well.
Okay. Well, this is going to be maybe a difficult question, but if we take, for example, the song Africa, which was released, I think, last week, can you take me through how a song like that comes to be?
Yeah, of course. Africa came about like I really always wanted to do a track with African vocals, because
Why?
I heard one of my colleagues actually made one, and there was a really nice track, and the vocals just have a different feeling or vibe to it and sound really happy. And it's the same in Africa's, like the vocals in there are really happy too. But also watching the news lately and like throughout the years, the documentaries about Africa, it's a really beautiful country, but there's also a lot of poverty in Africa, and there's actually wars going on. And the thing I wanted to express with the track was actually that the people over there might be like, they aren't rich or whatever, and they might suffer from something, but still if they hear music or if they get about the music connects them, and they get really happy, you know, it makes them feel good. Mm-hmm. And that's what I wanted to express with the track as well, like whatever happens to people, if they hear music, it might cheer them up and it might get them happy, and that's how Africa got about.
Is it well, with normal songs that you have lyrics, you have songs, so is it difficult then with electronic dance music to convey this, to show this emotion, or to have this emotion in the track?
Well, maybe. I mean, everyone interprets the song different if they hear it, you know, because music is emotion, and for everyone else, I mean, some people might listen to music and get really happy, and some people might hear a song and they might cry because they played it on the funeral of their father or parents or whatever. So, I mean, it's not easy, but with my tracks, I just want to create a feeling of like giving people energy, you know, to make them happy, or sometimes I have some more emotional tracks, so it might make them sad or whatever. But for me, it's just really important to have a message in my track and, you know, portray that to the people.
These messages, where do they come from? You mentioned that with Africa, it came from watching or seeing documentaries and the song by somebody else. But can they be from everywhere, or are these things that happen to you?
Yeah, it depends on what you get inspired on, because sometimes you might see something funny on TV and there's a really funny sound with it. You want to like remake it or whatever. But for example, if you break up with your girlfriend, you might make a track and getting inspired about it, you know. So it's just different every time.